What happens when you mix a woeful understanding of our natural world with a Macedonian chat show?
Because they're destroying it because, oh, it's just an accidental planet, one of millions. We've found other Earths. You know, eventually, if this one gets too messed up, we'll go to another one.
You get Allegedly Dave on Late Night with Milinko. Welcome one and all to another edition of the well-loved and ever-popular Flat Earth Friday. My name is Simon Dan and I am delighted that you can join me. Today we delve into the mind of Allegedly Dave, or D Murphy 25 if you want to use his official name. He has spent some considerable time looking at alternative lifestyles, including this.
Hello. So, day one of the Great Breatharian experiment. Surprisingly, for somebody who's done a 30-day fast and forgotten to eat for 8 or 9 days, I found the first day to be very difficult, actually.
And even this.
Well, I've been drinking urine now for 6 years.
Oh, maybe someone should tell him that urine is 96% water, and it's probably better if he just drunk water. So when I saw that he had appeared on a chat show in the country of Macedonia, how the hell did that transpire, by the way? I was intrigued. So I'm going to sit here with a nice coffee and see what he's got to say.
You know, put an end to this topic once and for all, turn the Hubble round and show us Earth in real time, zooming in onto a place so that we can see what's happening at that place, and we know that there is something up there looking down on us from space. But they will not do it. They can't do it. It can't. It doesn't exist. It literally doesn't exist.
Sorry to disappoint you, Dave, but it does. Here, look. This is a picture from the Japanese Himawari satellite taken on November the 16th at 4:40 AM UTC. And this is a picture from NASA's EPIC satellite taken at almost exactly the same time on the exact same date. But let me guess, they're both fake, right? Well, let's take a closer look. Even though these photos were taken from a slightly different angle, you can clearly see that the cloud formations are identical. So either the Japanese Space Agency and NASA have the same animators, which by the way have the unbelievable ability to even make sure that the Earth is illuminated properly by the sun on each image, or they are both real images. Now what's more likely?
It's all fraud. It's all fake. Pretty much everything NASA puts out is fraudulent.
I hope you're not including the infrared ear thermometer in that list, or prosthetics, or ventricular assist devices, or landmine removal tools, or firefighting equipment, or temper foam, or enriched baby formula, or water purification. I could go on. My point is, your blind mistrust for NASA means you don't appreciate the other things they've had a hand in creating.
Nobody has actually really gone all the way across Antarctica. Yeah. Now there are millionaires out there who could, you know, assemble the resources to make an expedition and completely, you know, go across and chart Antarctica and make a name for themselves, being the first person to do that. Yeah. But nobody ever does.
I'm going to get serious now because this is one of the things that sickens me most about flat earthers. This man is Henry Worsley. He wanted to become the first person to ever cross Antarctica completely unassisted and unsupported. He was a seasoned explorer and before the trip raised £100,000 for injured servicemen and women. On the 24th of January 2016 he died just 30 miles short of making it. So when you throw away a statement like this...
nobody has actually really gone all the way across Antarctica.
Do you think that Henry's friends, family and colleagues appreciate that? Do you think his wife and children want to be told that he died doing something that you believe is just a story? You don't have the right to clean the boots he used to make the trip, let alone comment on its believability. Let's just leave that as the disgraceful, offensive comment that it is. You should be ashamed.
If a pilot is flying around the curve of the Earth, then he should be dipping the nose down every 5 minutes. He should be dipping the nose down to stay around the curve.
We don't live on a ball 10 miles across, Dave.
But the thing that really got me interested was...
Wanted to feel inferior to the majority of the human race?
As you say, the gyroscope.
Oh, okay, right.
In a plane, there is an artificial horizon, okay, and it's based on a gyroscope. And if you spin a gyroscope on a surface, it will want to stay upright. You can twist and tilt the surface as much as you like. The gyroscope will stay upright. So if a plane has a gyroscope and it starts following the curve of the Earth, the gyroscope would stay upright, which means the artificial horizon will start to roll backwards. But it doesn't. That's absolute proof that a plane flies over a flat surface.
Dave. The Earth is big. It has a circumference of just over 40,000 kilometres. But besides all that, let's look at those gyros for a second. I once again turn to my pilot friend James, who helped me out a great deal here. Attitude instruments in airliners now are far more accurate than they used to be, and derive information from a large amount of air data sources. Some light aircraft still do use the gyro instrument for attitude indication that Dave is describing here. However, they have a weight at the bottom, which means that they always have a force pulling directly down below the aircraft to give them a fixed horizon reference. That wouldn't be affected by the curvature of the Earth, as gravity always pulls in the same direction regardless of where you are around the curve. Thanks for that, James. We'll get together soon and watch some partridge. Jurassic Park.
As you say, the globe is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's a leading astronomer in America, tells us that the Earth is not a perfect circle. It is actually an oblate spheroid. It's squashed and wider at the equator. Yeah? So...
Znači, po-stesnet je na polovite, a po-širok je na ekvatorot.
Exactly.
I really hope he's got an earpiece in getting the translation for that. Otherwise, that's golden cringe.
So my question to him would be, why is there land at the equator?
Say what now?
Because water will move more readily than rock. So if the Earth is spinning, the water will be collected at the equator. I mean, if you spin a wet tennis ball, okay, you spin a wet tennis ball, the water shoots off at the equator, essentially. So all the water will be gathered around the equator. So why is there land at the equator? Doesn't make any sense.
Oh, Dave. Right, let's examine this claim. The centrifugal force acting on me right now because of the Earth's rotation is figured out as follows. Mass times velocity squared over radius. So my mass is 70 kilograms and the speed of Earth's rotation is 463.6 meters per second. If we square that and multiply it by my mass, then divide that by the radius of Earth in meters, we get a force of 2.36 newtons. Now, the gravitational force exerted on me is my mass of 70 kilograms multiplied by the Earth's mass of 5.972 times 10 to the power of 24 kilograms multiplied by the gravitational constant of 6.67 times 10 to the minus 11, and then we divide all of that by the radius of Earth squared and we get 687 newtons. 687 is a lot more than 2.36, isn't it? Interesting. So as you can see, the gravitational force is hundreds of times stronger than the centrifugal force caused by the Earth's rotation. It's why you can spin a tennis ball and the water will fly off, because if you do the calculations, at that point the centrifugal force is greater than the gravitational force.
If you watch the trajectory of the space shuttle, it doesn't go straight up. It always goes in a curve and out to sea. Yeah, and if you see it...
Why is that?
Well, because
is it normal to go straight up? As fast as he can to go out of the atmosphere?
I've been talking to a few people in in sort of the scientific community, and they'll say, no, straight up isn't the right way to go. You have to sort of go sort of around the curve and get speed to get into orbit.
Space isn't that far away, Dave. The objective of the space shuttle was to get in orbit as quickly as possible and use the least amount of fuel as possible. Going straight up and then doing a 90-degree turn is not the best way to do it. I mean, you wouldn't join a motorway at 70 miles an hour from a T-junction. No, you wouldn't. You would join from a slip road that angles you gently onto the motorway.
And it seems that nobody's ever on the space shuttle. And the proof of that is the Challenger disaster. In, I believe it's 1986, the Challenger exploded just after takeoff and killed 7 astronauts. But it turns out that 6 of the astronauts are still alive, and most of them are using their original names. And you can find pictures of them. They're using the same names, and they're doing ordinary jobs now.
Anyone who's watched me for some time will know that I've addressed this before on an older video, when Sleeping Warrior made the same disrespectful comments. Here's a quick clip. What he's probably seen is a picture like this, or a slightly different variation of it, or a YouTube video or something. Now, if Mr. Warrior had actually looked into it and done some research, not flat earth research, but proper research, he would have found out that this is all a hoax. The man on the left of this picture is the commander of Challenger, Francis Scobie. The man on the right is also Francis Scobie, who during the time of the launch was CEO and president of the Marketing Edge Inc. out of Chicago. Clearly not the same guy. I mean, they've got completely different shaped chins. What about this one? The man on the left of this picture is Challenger mission specialist Ellison Onizaka. The man on the right is his brother Claude. And this one. The lady on the left of this picture is Sharon McAuliffe, a teacher who was selected out of 11,000 applicants to be the first civilian in space. The lady on the right doesn't even look like her, and we're supposed to believe that they're the same person, despite the fact that at the time of the launch, Sharon McAuliffe on the right was working for a law firm in New York. That's just 3 examples, and it's the same for all the others. A horrible hoax that is a disgrace to the memory of the astronauts that lost their lives that day. That's twice in 10 minutes now, Dave, that you've shit all over the memory of brave, courageous people that have lost their lives in pursuit of greatness. Believing that the Earth is flat is one thing, and rest assured, Dave, it is a silly belief. But to willfully display such a high level of ignorance and disrespect is the lowest of the low. Shame on you again. That brings this episode to a close in a disappointing and sombre fashion. I do struggle to find the right words when flat earthers move from mere speculation to this sort of thing. So we'll call it a day here and leave Dave to his half pint of urine.
My morning routine is basically I would get up, wee my glass, drink most of it, leaving a little bit at the bottom, and I'd wash myself with it.
Thank you all for joining me for another episode of Flat Earth Friday. I have been Simon Dan. If you enjoyed watching, please do like and subscribe. I'll see you all Tuesday where we look at a possible 9th planet. See you all then.